Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with a late review for you tonight. Uh, and tonight I'm talking about Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile, released on Netflix back in 2019, starring, directed by, I believe, Joe Berlinger, starring Zac Efron, Lily Collins, Haley Joel Osment, Jeffrey Donovan, and John Malkovich. This movie is about the uh, mainly focuses on the trial of serial killer Theodore Ted Bundy. Um, Bundy murdered. I can't remember how many women it was off the top of my head. But Bundy killed many women in the 1970s and early 1980s. Or I think, no, it was all his murders were in the 70s. You know what, just let me. Yeah, Bundy, what I liked about this movie was the perspective it gave. It's more about his wife than it's about him, showing her cope and deal with like the the five stages of grief kind of thing that she goes through, her denial and anger and bargaining and all that bullshit. Uh, so, okay, he killed 20 women. Jesus Christ. Between 74 and 78. I like how that's on Wikipedia, like it's fucking sports stats. Anyhow, yeah, so Bundy, he eventually got the chair or some shit. He died. The movie doesn't go that far. What was good about the film was Zac Efron gave a good performance. I prefer Mark Harmon's performance in 1986 NBC film The Deliberate Stranger. Prefer that movie. Uh, but I liked Efron in this, and I need to see him in a good movie, in a good role, because he had a disappointing year. I thought that movie Gold looked cool. It wasn't good at all. Firestarter had no excuse to suck and ends up being one of the worst movies of the fucking year. And he was an excellent choice for Andy McGee, too. So I was glad to see this and the role he's good in, and I know he's like shooting a movie right now. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called The Iron Claw after the dad's finisher, but he's gonna be playing Carrie Von Erich. Uh, I've said before, there was talk a few years ago about Bradley Cooper maybe playing Vince McMahon, and Chris Hemsworth maybe playing Hulk Hogan in shows or movies or whatever, but Carrie Von Erich is a story to tell because this was a man, him and his family were deeply beloved. And the tragedies surrounding that entire family and all the deaths. And the inspiring work that Carrie Von Erich put in the ring. There's a lot of potential for a great movie there. I've also said, I think even recently on here, you can make a great movie about the early life of Roddy Piper. Make a movie about him getting into wrestling, going from being a homeless guy to becoming a pro wrestler and finding a family in wrestling. I think that could be a great film. Uh, but ultimately, Ted Bundy. I'm looking forward to that movie. I'm glad I like this movie. I'm glad Zac Efron was really good in this. The standout performance in this movie actually was John Malkovich. Uh, Very reserved performance, very believable, and lots of times you see a lot of the people play judges, and they'll come off more like Judge Judy with their getting involved in the story or like side glances when they hear something terrible. Just everything was just very much realistic with Malkovich's performance. He was very good in this. He's usually excellent, but yeah, he was really good in this, and a very non-showy role. But yeah, Ted Bundy. He murdered many, many women. He was a rapist. He was a cannibal. At least one child. He was a man. Not only was he a textbook sociopath, but he was also a textbook narcissist. Um, just a piece of shit who thought he could genuinely talk himself out of anything because he was rich, handsome, and smart. And now he rots in hell, where he fucking belongs. I give this movie 4 stars. It's not great. Problem is with whatchamacallit, biopics about serial killers. I prefer when they're done more like this, more as melodramas instead of trying to do something like a horror movie, because I feel horror should be fun, and then you could lean unintentionally into disrespecting the victims of these monsters. Anyhow, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.